Now that we have discussed the dynamics of human populations, we need to talk about areas where humans, and therefore human impacts, are most concentrated: cities. Populations range from less than 500 people in small and medium sized cities to megacities, which have 10 million residents or more. As of 2016, over half of the world's population lives in cities, and that number is increasing. Cities are also growing, and according to the United Nations, 27% of people in the world will be living in cities with more than 1 million inhabitants by 2030. The process in which land is converted to urban area as more and more people move in from rural areas is called urbanization. Cities attract people from rural areas looking for opportunities for employment. Cities are typically diverse, with many races, ethnicities, religions, and socioeconomic statuses represented in the population. More younger people tend to live in cities than in rural areas, and cities in developing nations tend to have higher percentage of male residents, while there tends to be more women in cities in developed nations. While most of the world's population lives in cities, urban areas only account for around 2% of the world's land area. Cities are distinguished by their population size and population density, and are typically agglomerated around historical economic resources, including rivers, ports, and railroads, with some exceptions. Some urban agglomerations are made up of many cities and their surrounding suburbs. For example, the portion of the East Coast of the US that connects Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and other cities is called the Boss-Wash megalopolis. Most of the fastest growing cities are in what is called the Global South, which encompasses the world's developing nations. Most of the megacities, as well as the megacities that will emerge over the next 10 years, are in these nations. However, this rapid growth and urbanization does not bring with it rapid economic growth. Many of these cities lack sufficient city services like water, sewage, garbage collection, and police and fire protection. The development of cities is unavoidable, but there are many positive aspects to cities, including the concentration of human environmental impacts in a small area. And we'll talk about that in a later video. However, it's also important that cities are planned and managed as they grow to make sure that its human inhabitants have equitable access to things like water, public services, protection, and housing.